welcome to the Unhinged.
The Unhinged Poddy.
Welcome to the Unhinged Poddy. We will continue our discussion with Abha, my new sister. Hi, Abha.
Hello.
She has been kind enough to give me time. Abha is an up-and-coming fashion designer. She does menswear labels, and her designs and her ideology to do those things is just fantastic. And she is here to talk about fashion a little bit. If you haven't already, please go check out part 1. And in part 2, we'll continue discussing fashion. In particular, how is it even possible to consume ethically and consciously?
Yeah.
Mass consumerism tries to put the onus on the consumers as to how to ethically consume. My few purchases, even in masses, if I use them a bit consciously, are not going to break the environment. Me buying, and I'm extending this to just beyond fashion too, me buying sanitary napkins instead of being conscious and buying a menstrual cup or something, that's going to save the planet, but not the corporations that endlessly produce shitty quality of stuff. Not the corporations that are causing oil slicks, not the corporations that are burning forests after forests. So the onus is not on them. It's on me as a consumer, because I need to compromise my sanity, my pocket, my time, my convenience to be conscious. Why is the burden on me? Why am I, for example, expected to go through the discomfort of switching between a sanitary napkin or a menstrual cup, or switching between a cheaper option of daily basics to wear just to be more conscious and ethical? Like, you put the burden on the masses so much. If I'm not educated, there's still a barrier of entry into doing this consciously, and that's always going to be money. If I'm young, the first requirement is things need to be cheap. Things need to be in quantity. If I'm not aware, again, that will be my only requirement. So you are putting so many barriers of entry. There was another guy on TikTok who bought this comparison, and he said chocolate, a sustainable, ethically produced chocolate, would be $10 for a bar, whereas a similar one, which is mass produced and just average quality and average brand, would be like $1 a bar, for example. While the $10 a bar would be more ethical and that would be the right price, the people who are buying that come from a certain type of privilege. So the ethical consumption under capitalism in many situations would be for a few elite, so that they are absolved of that guilt of participating towards something horrible. It's a privilege, and the privilege exists to just absolve the select few. It's not to actually help the environment, to help the social standing, none of it. It's not meant to help them. Again, if you want to help the local artists who do the sourcing of the raw materials, who do the sourcing of dyes and actually do the dyeing process, why aren't you paying them sustainable wages? Yeah. How many busts have we seen for Shein and other fast fashion brands where people were stuck in a sweatshop being made to work on bare minimum wages? I don't think you can even call them wages. They were abhorrent.
Yeah.
Why do you think your materials are more expensive? You have to cop the difference in a way, because others are getting advantage. You have to cop that difference. That's why it's more expensive on your end too. It could still be sustainable.
That's the negative of when globalization came in. Let's go back. That's when
people
in
love to argue against it.
90s, when liberalization, globalization came in and changed the whole perspective. Also, what I'm producing, khadi, it was something that gave us independence in 1947. Yes. Everybody, every household was producing khadi. Do you think it was that expensive at that time? It wasn't. Everyone was working on handlooms. India had the biggest handloom industry.
Yeah.
Things started to shut down when you have these newer materials coming in. People shifted to much more powerloom materials, which, mind you, was never in India. And I'm not talking here just about India or any other country in specific. It was not a thing which was widely celebrated. Polyesters or polyamides or nylons or rayons, elastanes, all these fabrics were never celebrated throughout the world.
That's right.
I understand technology came in, and poly is something which is not in our fabrics, but in various things. It's in our laptops, it's in our mobile phones. And understandable, it is needed. Polymer is needed. But the market started to change, and at a lot of times when people ask me that why it is expensive, because handloom is no more a thing now. Nobody is producing things from hand.
Because people don't want to pay for somebody else's time. It's a bad thing. I'm saying that's a bad thing. But that's the attitude.
Imagine, what if everyone starts to produce from handloom? What if there's a mass production selling or producing things which are much more ethically made? And ethically also means you giving the right wages to the laborers. There are certain kind of working conditions. There is right health condition that you're providing. If you remember, we were discussing about this blast that happened in Bangladesh where
sweatshops.
Sweatshops, and the entire building fell off. And mind you, the things that were produced there were all for H&M. And H&M sells things for like $10, $15, $20.
The tailoring.
Do you realize the money, the daily wage that those laborers are getting is even less than 100 rupees or something?
It's not sustainable. 100 rupees is like, what, $2, by the way?
Less than 100 rupees. Like, if even this doesn't awaken you, I'm not sure what will. Because it is horribly shitty. It's just a toll on humanity that you're not even realizing now, and you're still going back to these places. I understand industries have to close and governments have to take initiatives. Brands like these should definitely shut down. I'm not sure how they're still going on and on. But people who are actually educating themselves, for example, food. You reach a point, you reach a health where you don't want to be spending on shitty items or oily foods or whatever. That's your personal choice. Why can't you have that personal choice for the things that you're wearing or the things that you're placing in your house?
Oh, when that takes work.
Yeah.
Even if I have only $10 to spend, for example, I get to decide where my $10 go.
100%, yeah.
But for that, I need to stop, contemplate, introspect, actually educate myself. That seems hard to a lot of masses. And yes, this is going to call out masses. And again, people are going to come at me for this, but that's the reality. I do a lot more thrifting. I tend to hold on to stuff that I bought from H&M in the past, for example. When I did like a piece, and when their expensive collections come out, sometimes they're a hit and miss. So a few items are really good. But if I just buy it because it's trendy right now, and 5 years later, I'm like, I have done enough. And we just choose not to think about this in the long term because, again, it takes too much energy. I understand that. But that's why we're trying to cultivate thought process, because that's something priceless. It's going to make you stand out. You know what looks the best? Confidence. And that air of knowing that you look good in whatever you are wearing that day. Your style is going to be timeless and effortless.
100%. And if you're buying things from fast fashion brands or whatever, and you realize that they don't last after 10 washes. We all know it. Like, it fades off. And after the 10 washes, you go back to your wardrobe and you look at whatever you have left in your wardrobe, and you'll be like, I have nothing to wear. I think I have to go back shopping because it doesn't look nice now. And then you go back again, you spend another $100 for 10 pieces, and then you come back again, you wear it again for 2 months, and then you go back again. Do you realize if you actually calculate for your whole life, you spend more than you would actually spend on a single piece, which is going to be much more sustainable, would have much more longevity in your wardrobe, in your life, rather than you continue to spend these pennies on fast fashion.
Over and over. Yeah.
And that's the marketing. They don't want to produce something which is $100 quality. They want to give you a $10 piece because they know that it's going to destroy after a point. And then you have to come back.
I think if people wanted a guide on when to buy cheap things and when to buy expensive things, I think what has worked for me based on observation and years is you need to learn why certain things are expensive, the best example I have is t-shirts.
Yeah.
An expensive t-shirt and a cheap t-shirt. You know how you can immediately spot it? And that once it hit me, it's like a light switch went off. The neckline.
Yeah.
When the neck starts to become loose and it doesn't sit flush on your neck, that's a cheap t-shirt. An expensive, good quality t-shirt, it's always going to sit nice and flush against your neck.
Yeah.
You might not know what I'm saying right now based on just the audio.
Yeah.
But go and start observing. I know people who have spent $2,000 on a basic pair of black pants because it's flattering for them and it's a little bit forgiving, so they can get a few years and a few fluctuations out of them. Next best thing would be blazers, which is your specialty. Spend good money on blazers that you know look bomb on you, that you know are nice, classic, simple pieces, even statement pieces. I would spend on this. This is nice. Yeah. The piece that I'm wearing right now, the pieces that you're making, I would spend on them because they are always forgiving. First of all, blazers are always forgiving. Oversized ones, especially for girls, always look nice. Spend on those. When you find a flattering pair of pants,
have like 10 to 15 timeless pieces, keep them in your wardrobe, keep switching in between those, and eventually you won't even realize when you look after 10 years, right? You have like a long lasting, such a beautiful wardrobe, and I would just pass it to someone in my family or my friends or my children.
This is fashion equivalent of generational wealth.
Yes.
Straight up. Like, this is what you're building. Don't build it for your kids. That's just an added advantage. Yeah. But even for yourself, invest in nice pieces. The reason I want different outfits sometimes is just for social media. Yeah. If I have had my picture taken in one piece of clothing, I can't repeat it again. Why the fuck can I not repeat it again? What kind of dumbass mindset is this? Why am I dressing up for the fucking internet or for my fucking feed? Yeah. I do realize that when I step out, there are different types of people I come across who haven't seen this. Yeah. Even if I wear it 10 times, I'm going to find 10 different zones to take my outfit to. Yeah. The crowd is not sitting on the internet. They're not rotting their brains. They're living life. And this was interesting. I told you about this. I went to Hong Kong in December. I didn't realize it would be winter there. Yeah. I did not have any coats or anything. I just had one ugly puffer jacket that I just use on the daily. I just happen to have it in my luggage and I don't like it. It just doesn't look good in the photos. I literally spent half a day at the outlet store, immediately landing at the airport like an idiot. I found nothing. I found shit all because everything that I was liking was being sold on almost full price. Yeah. I went to Ralph Lauren thinking I would get something. No, nothing. Yeah. In the end, I just sulked and left and I was like, why am I being so dumb and so stupid? I have something that's going to serve the function. Yeah. Why do I want to buy something just for the photos? Yeah. It's really stupid.
And you could have spent half a day somewhere else. Yeah.
And you know then what I did? Whenever I had to take pictures and videos, I just took the fucking jacket off. And that's it. I got my photos. And nobody there has seen my outfits. Nobody in Hong Kong has even seen me. Nobody cares. Yeah. Why am I being this stupid? And it's okay if I had the pieces that I've already worn in the past. Who cares? People and life exists in the real world, in person, in physical realm. Yeah. It doesn't exist on the internet. Yeah. I believe social media did play its dirty part in rotting people's brains about outfits. Yeah. Girls. It obviously preys on girls. We know that. It tried to condition everybody into thinking that you do need a new outfit every time. Because if your feed has the same outfit, people don't like it. And it's not. People actually don't like it. But who the hell cares? If you look bomb in an outfit today, you're going to look bomb in it tomorrow too. Yeah. Same doesn't mean you look ugly. Same is fine. Same is just same. It doesn't have a negative connotation. What the hell? Yeah. We need to change that mindset.
I know the fact that there are people who don't even care either. There is an audience. It doesn't matter. You're wearing the same outfit again. Yeah, go for it. Exactly. And I have seen people, in fact, a lot of celebrities this season who came in and they wore their wedding outfits to another event, just styled it differently, just did their hair differently, just wore different jewelry, and that's it. It started to look absolutely different than how they wore it for their wedding. When celebrities started to do it, people started to appreciate it more. If I'm wearing a piece of mine, a jacket, I would just pair it with a waistcoat the next time, or I would pair it with a necktie the next time, or I would just do and that's where the styling plays a major role.
Being creative
with,
to be fair though, it's an art form. That aspect is not for everyone. Everybody doesn't have the time and the luxury of spending enough attention towards this. So we do acknowledge that this comes from some level of privilege too. However, the time you spend in consuming what Fashion Nova is selling and looking at your favorite influencers or whatever for inspiration, change your inspiration. If that's the kind of person you want to look like, I don't think there's anything more I can say to you. But basing your belief systems on certain kinds of people, certain kinds of looks, basing it on thought processes of certain types is going to shape how you consume. In other cases, you're right, a lot of people don't care whether they're being ethical or not. They just don't have the energy because their daily life is really tiresome. They are trying to escape something, and when you add the burden of knowledge and seeking knowledge on them, they just don't have the capacity.
I'm not expecting them to be actually worrying about fashion anyway. I never worried about fashion when I had a student life, and
just
tell
me what to do.
I was busy. I was in between my assignments and many things, and I feel at least 4 or 5 of my years went like that. I had no energy, no time at all. And if somebody expecting me to study, and like you're studying fashion but you're not doing fashion, I don't care. I never cared about it. And there are people who do not care about it. There are people who just genuinely, they don't worry about these things. But the ones who are worried, or the ones who are actually not repeating their outfits or wearing the new outfit every day, it would hit them when they would look at like a celebrity repeating their outfit, or listening to a podcast like this. Agreed. Or educating them with some magazine or some, I don't know, business, fashion news or whatever. If you are in that stage of fashion, and I'm talking about big leagues like influencers, of like yourself, where you are into fashion influencing, the fact like how it runs, and now you have reached an age and a time or a situation where that it's not ethical, it's not something I should be doing, I shouldn't be spending shit ton of money just on clothes. I have a limited life, and things do happen, things do change. I'm not expecting the massive crowd to change overnight. Of course, it takes shit ton of work and experience and by age, and I don't know, whatever you want to put it into. And it same happened with me. I was never a kind of person whoever would talk to me about sustainability or like how expensive a garment. I was like, what rubbish are you talking? Like, I'm not gonna spend 50,000 for a jacket. Like, it's just so stupid. And it is not just for clothes. I take that in account for my jewelry as well, for the kind of food that I'm eating, or even the kind of life that I'm living. I don't want to be... It's a mindset.
If you do it in one aspect of your life, you're going to do it in almost all aspects of your life. You cannot be eating shitty and then wearing the finest silk. It's not going to happen. Work. It's not going to happen. I'm sorry. It sounds mean, but to people who get it, they get it.
Yeah. And it's fine. I mean, I'm not trying to change the world here, but if someone who is buying or like doing mass consumerism, it is something, it will come with time. I'm not expecting them to change, and I'm pretty sure they're using that technique or that mindset for everything that they're doing in their lives.
It comes with time too, and privilege as well, because if I'm working on a budget and if I am really tired of the system, if my grind is ridiculous, all of my life is just full of stress, then this is the one thing that I'm gonna go towards to escape. I have been there. Again, I am not above it all. When I was younger and I was stressed or I was upset, I was sad, I was depressed for so many years.
I'd go to food anytime.
I would go to fashion. I would just buy things. And a lot of those things I have salvaged and I continue to use. And I was just lucky to have the pieces that didn't just fall apart from Shein or something. But I have used it as a crutch. I have used it as substance abuse of a kind.
Yeah.
A lot of us tend to do this, and we're not dismissing that to be a fact.
Yeah.
But stop and just stop and listen to some discourse if you can, because regardless of what situation we are in life, one thing we're all doing is going on socials, listening to people, listening to discourses. Yeah. And I cannot thank the podcast culture enough that people are willing to listen to each other. Yeah. They're not just consuming some ideas blindly. They're not falling prey to marketing blindly. Yeah. Have I also tried to promote certain kinds of brands in the past? Yes. Will I continue to do that? If I get the opportunity, yes. Yeah. But not if it's not a good piece.
Not selling the right thing, yeah.
Something needs to align. Yeah. And I think a lot of people who get their full-time income from this do not have the luxury to align themselves either, because your market reputation is also a thing. So we're not, again...
It's very complex.
It gets complex. Yeah. The only power and the only people with power are the people who are willing to do the work of thinking, contemplating, and introspecting. Yeah. That is something nobody's capable of taking away from you. Yeah. Consume a little bit consciously. Yeah. Just a little bit. Thrifting is the best place to start. Your pocket is going to thank you. Your style sense is going to thank you. The earth is going to thank you. Everybody, like literally everybody wins. What do you think about the discourse on how thrifting has also gotten expensive? Really, really expensive. A lot of Shein items were found in the thrift store and people were like, hell no, this is crap.
You have to have an eye for it. I don't go to all the thrift stores. I know now, at least in Melbourne, that which are the best ones. And also the vintage markets. So there is a thrift store which actually puts the garments of all these brands right now, which you see around. But then there's a completely different vintage market, which is absolutely much more creative and much more the kind of vibe that I would go for.
And I think you have to just go as a trial and error exercise. Every time you go to the thrift store, you just have to be willing to look around and come back empty-handed.
See,
if you don't see something that speaks to you, or if it doesn't spark something in you, you just leave it and come back.
Just come back,
I have had friends. I was that person too, by the way, when I was a child. Whenever you go out, and if you enter a store, you have to walk out with something in your hand. God. You have to purchase something. How can you be going out with the mindset of, oh, today I'm going to buy one piece of clothing and then come back with no piece of clothing? That seems like a wasted exercise to a lot of people. Change that mindset. It's okay. It's okay if you went to 5 thrift stores today, but nothing spoke to you.
I think people are getting there, and
a lot of them
it is just the market is getting way more sensible. And even when people ask me like what kind of age group you're setting in, it is late 20s and mid 30s and 40s.
People you would expect to have money.
People I would expect to have money. Also the mindset, that mindset to be actually paying, because when I was 25, I would have still spent good money on a good piece of clothing, but that is not the age group the brand is targeting to. But you have that kind of crowd which is actually getting way more sensible. Kind of brand that I'm running and everything, I know the fact that I have to like get out there more and start educating, start speaking about things. It's a novelty for people. They don't understand what this fiber is or what fiber is in general, like what terms are you using or whatever. And I feel even if I wasn't a fashion student, I think I've reached an age and a time where I can't go back to how things were when I was a child. Like, I remember somebody in my relative once told me that the whole world is firing the crackers during Diwali. If you don't, how are you anyway saving the world?
That's the mindset with consumerism too.
And it is with clothing as well.
How are you alone supposed to make a difference?
How you alone are supposed to make difference. But imagine if I even have 1,000 people like me, you're changing 1,000 houses. You're changing another generation that's going to be born in that house. You're setting an example.
You don't know who's observing you. You don't know who
You don't
you're
know.
speaking to.
Exactly.
And there's a chain reaction. Sometimes
And
it
if
doesn't
you're-
happen in one go,
Yeah.
but it happens one by one. It's a
Maybe
wave.
another generation might change completely.
Oh,
So if
yes.
you're carrying that mindset that I don't care, everyone else is doing as well, you're going to keep that mindset. You're going to give it to your children as well, or to the rest of your family or around your friends or whatever.
It's a chain reaction.
Yeah.
Again, impressionable age.
Yeah.
This is what we mean.
Yeah.
So much shit is sold to that young age group because they're so impressionable and they're so easy to mold.
Yes.
Just like the negative marketing is working, why can't the positive one?
Exactly.
Like, if you want to look like money, if you want to look like you're somebody polished and more refined, just make a few key good choices. It's a mindset.
Yeah.
It gets taught at a younger age.
Yeah.
You learn by example or you learn by being told off. You're right. Either you get fined or you are a product of that environment that you brought up in. Same thing applies to, you're right, in consuming things too. Yeah. It takes a lot of energy.
It takes a lot of energy,
headache,
patience,
gives you a lot
and many things, of course.
It brings a lot of negative emotions.
Many things,
to be honest.
Yeah.
It does not come easy. You will go through a lot of depression when you
it
start
broke
being
my
conscious.
friendships.
Yeah.
Not kidding.
Yeah.
It broke my friendships. It broke my relationship with many people.
Because once you see it, you can't unsee it. If you're a kid, I will try and educate you.
Yeah.
And we are giving them a little bit of a pass because I understand they're dealing with so much shit. Yeah. But if you are earning already, if you are in a grown adult
Reached
job,
a point,
why the hell are you still buying Fashion Nova? Why do you want to look like
a
trash?
40-year-old
Because I'm sorry, it does look like trash.
I don't know, if you're earning well, and that's the point. It's not about rich or poor. Even the richest man is doing shitty things, and I know it's also the whole mentality that you carry.
That's just one sign.
Yeah. It's just one sign of consumerism, but it's not just one thing. It's about your whole attitude being selfish. You don't care about anything else in the world. It's not just the environment, it is every fucking thing.
It has to come from you wanting to do the right thing. It has to come from you wanting to learn more and change your perspective. A lot of the times it's going to be a lost cause, and we know that the lowest common denominator is unfortunately going to be like that. That's the world that we are dealing with, and that's why governments fail, and the state of the world still continues to be a struggle for most of us. You do have the power of speaking up and to strike a conversation when you get the chance. Is it exhausting and tedious? Yes. Fuck yes. Whatever we said today has been said a million times over.
Yeah.
A million times over.
Yeah.
But because different people were listening and not listening, we tried one more time.
Still trying to,
We still will try because you never know what analogy speaks to them, what kind of visuals speak to them. Because I'll listen to one thing when a certain kind of person is saying it, but not the other. We all have bias. So you never know.
Yeah.
If the listeners would like this idea, I want to push her into doing a series where she picks out particular pieces in high fashion, goes through their materials and the details of the stuff that it's made from, and break it apart. Would you like that? I thought that was a brilliant way to do it.
Yeah. But I'm actually going to soon be doing a series on it about explaining all the silhouettes and the fibers and fabrics of each of my garment, because they're all separately made with different ideas and themes.
Which would be amazing.
Yeah.
So that's a good way to connect
still
to
working
your passion and putting your soul into your work, because you're not doing this just to make money. It matters. How it comes to be matters, which is great. So that's the end of part 2, and that was a very interesting 2 sessions. I honestly thought we would cover multiple topics, but no, this topic ends up being quite detailed, and that took a long time, and before we know it, we have been recording for over 2 hours now.
So
this
we
is
need
fun.
A few more days to be discussing
in the least
many other topics.
Definitely. So thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much for spending time and talking about your passions and engaging in the conversation. There's so much more to come, and I would be very excited to hear about all the fibers, and I am particularly interested in you taking apart piece by piece what is currently selling on the market, and if it is worth that price. So if anybody has any ideas on which brand and which kind of fabric she should deep dive into, please give us suggestions, and she will be more than happy to deep dive into it and give you some perspective. If there's any other aspect of fabric in particular, or outfits, or any take you would want from her, please reach out in my comments, in her DMs. I will tag her and her socials. I will obviously tag myself. So just reach out to either of us, reach out to the Unhinged Poddy, and just fire away your questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And that was the Unhinged Poddy episode for today. I hope you enjoyed. Reach out to us on the Unhinged Poddy across all of our socials. Give me your comments, give me any suggestions, tell me what you would like me to talk about next. Until then, bye.
The Unhinged Poddy.